Bonjour mes amis, et bienvenue au Pendu dans le Cercle de Lune. Hello friends, if this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you for coming. I'm pleased to meet you. If you've been here before, thank you for returning. I'm truly honored. Friends, if you are a returning visitor, you surely know from that attempt at a French introduction that this is my series in which I use Cercle de Marseille adjacent and antique Italian decks to help me unpack a question that I pull from my larger weekly spread. And I've already done my larger weekly spread, which I entitled Energy Ramping Up. It was a spread that began with the information that energy in our lives, energy in our circumstances might be ramping up, and that's a good thing, but we also might want to be aware of how we are navigating through that ramped up energy as we try to live our intentional lives. And so, as usual, in case you have not seen that video yet, in case you haven't watched that reading, I'll put a card up here for you to hop on over and watch that and then come back here, because seeing that video will give you the context from which this reading is arising. And in case you have seen that and it's been a while, you want a quick refresher, remember we started off with the Four of Discs, and that gave us that image of an eagle sitting on four discs or eggs, indicating both the four elements and the eagle's chicks, and it being Venus raising her children in the house of her partner Mars. It's a really interesting beginning to the reading, and that was associated also with the Queen of Swords card asking us to use our mental faculties independently, clearly, rationally, and beautifully. And at the bottom of the Four of Discs, we had the Eight of Wands, which was, that those four discs were sitting on this powerful fiery energy, ramping up the fire that already existed in those four discs. So we had all of this ramping up of energy and a potential flopping of burnout. That's what I'm trying to say, not flopping, but burnout. And that's where that reading began, if you recall. And we walked through a couple of ways that we could approach that. We had the shoot growing up, and then we had the hand reaching in to grasp that shoot, and it was a very interesting reading. And still, I wanted to get a concise response to that full reading, a concise, short and sweet message to help us remember and unpack and understand that larger reading. So as usual, I asked the question, what is the central message of this week's Ace of Wands spread? So I asked that question, and I shuffled my deck, and I pulled my cards, and so I'm going to show you all of that. I'll show you the question right now, and then I'll show you the cards, and then we'll talk about them. So here we go. What do you think of that deck and those cards? I think it's a brilliantly done facsimile of the Jean Payen deck from 1743. Here's the box that it came in. You can see the box. It's a gorgeous box. I know this isn't a video about a box, but still, it's a wood box made to look like a book. It's just wonderful. I love the box. And guilty secret, part of the reason I wanted this deck, just a small part, was the box. So that's the Cercle de Marseille of Jean Payen. It's 1743. I did a walkthrough of the deck. If you want to see that walkthrough, I'll put a card up here for you to go and take a look at that walkthrough if you want. So there will be that information for you as well. But we got these four cards. And if you saw to this week's larger spread, you might think that this was kind of funny. You may, I don't know, did you laugh? I hope you laughed. I laughed because we got the cards from left to right, the Knight of Wands, the Knight of Discs, card 13, and then the Emperor. Now, if you have not seen the larger video of this week, let me tell you what the joke is. The joke is that in reading that larger spread, my mind got all twisted up. And in the 4 cards that appear at the very top of the spread, in that grouping of 4 cards, one of the cards, which was reversed, was the Knight of Discs. However, when I saw that Knight of Discs, I read the Knight of Wands reversed. It was the Knight of Discs, I read it as the Knight of Wands, and then I had to go back and correct myself. And so, when I laid the explanation for, or this response to my question, what is the central message? And both the Knight of Wands and the Knight of Discs appeared in that order, I bust a gut. Yeah, it was just too funny. So yes, tarot has a sense of humor. It has a sense of humor, and also, you know, maybe there's another reason that I think this is funny, but maybe my reading or seeing the Knight of Wands when it was the Knight of Discs was not an idiot's mistake. It may have been my unconscious telling me something important about the spread. And having these 2 cards come out in this 4-card draw reinforces that idea. That no, it wasn't a mistake. That was actual information that was important for that spread. And it's so important that it's being repeated here in my Tarot de Marseille reading. So I thought that was important, interesting, and also very funny. So yeah, we started off with the Knight of Wands, and the Knight of Wands in this deck is just, well, all of the cards are beautiful. They're not pretty and clean. It is a facsimile of a very old deck, but it is a beautifully restored, well, redone, a beautiful facsimile. Yeah, it's not 100% cleaned up, but it is made so that we can see it easily. And I love the combination of the pink and the steel blue on the horse, for example. I love the wand. I love the facial expression on the knight. Just gorgeous. And this is the Knight of Wands, right? Which in some decks would be Virgo. No. What am I saying? Knight of Wands. Would be Sagittarius. Nope. Just a second. Let's see. Mutable Fire. Mutable Fire would be Sagittarius. Yes, would be Sagittarius. Yeah, moving ahead with independence, passion, vigor. So action, right? Adventure, fearlessness. Also sexual and creative energy accompanies this knight. This knight is one with their energy and channels that energy and channels their instinct and channels their creativity in the direction that they're going. And you'll see that in a lot of these cards, in a lot of the Knight of Wands cards, the knight seems to be going in one direction, but they're looking in the other direction. It may be that the knight is now coming to turn around and move into the new direction that they're looking, right? And so because of that, because the next knight is looking from left to right, because the next card, the card 13, is also looking from left to right, it seemed really clear that this spread is to be read from left to right. So I'm seeing this knight as getting the inspiration to turn around and move in, move in this direction, move in this direction for you. Now, my copy in front of me looks like it's going this way, but for you, for the knight to be turning around and moving in this direction, right? So, what does that mean? So, we're we're pivoting, we're shifting. Something is happening, something new is happening, and our passion, our action, our sense of adventure, and our fearlessness, our sexual and creative energy is moving us in the other direction, in the direction of the Knight of Discs, which is in some decks associated with Virgo. So we got Sagittarius and Virgo here, perhaps. And this Knight of Discs is also moving in this direction, correct? Yep, for you it's moving in this direction. This is the Knight of efficiency, of diligence and responsibility, all those wonderful Virgo attributes. Yep, putting things in the correct boxes and doing them in the right way. Taking challenges, sure. The Virgo is not afraid of doing stuff. An advancement in a practical direction. Yeah, this Knight is off for fun and adventure. This Knight is off for practical results. They're able to go beyond matter into creativity, of course, but in a productive expression of creativity. Now, they're not going to create just to create like the Knight of Wands might. This Knight creates in order to achieve an object. That is more than just a creative expression, it's a physical thing, stuffness. This Knight is also on a quest, but this quest is related to body, as well as creativity, and their place in the world. I'm moving into my place in the world, and I have a clear goal in sight. The Knight of Wands has a clear adventure in sight. The Knight of Discs is going on a steadily paced adventure with something in sight. This, you see the thing in sight here in the card as well, right? So both of these Knights are aspects of self, and they're moving in a particular direction. And where are they moving? With their creativity and their diligence and responsibility and adventuresomeness and efficiency all together, it's possible. It's the uniting of opposites, which was also indicated in this week's larger tarot spread. But these two Knights are moving in the direction of the meeting of these two folk, right? The meeting of card 13 and the Emperor. And I think this is an amazing meeting for several reasons. One of them being numerological. Now, if you know anything, I just dropped a card and I dropped an important card. I will be right back. The card is retrieved. Hallelujah. So, if you know about numerology and number reduction, there are a couple of ways of doing it. For some, there is the way of taking out the X's. What do I mean? So, for example, number 1 is number 1. Number 11, which is XI, some people would reduce that to just the I, the number 1. Take out the X. Yeah? So 15 XVI, or no, yeah, I'm sorry, XV. 15 XV, you take out the X and it would be number 5, V. There are some people who do it that way. Others, like me, do it in what's called a theosophical way, which means you add the numbers together. So number 1 is number 1. Number 10 is number 1. Yeah? 1 plus 0 is 1, so it's 1. Number 2 is 1 plus 1, which, yeah, the 1, 1, 1, 11, 1, 1 equals 2, right? 13 would be 3 plus 1 equals 4. So, lining the major arcana up in a theosophical reduction way, the Emperor and the card 13 are in the same line. Does that make sense? Now, there are other ways of arranging the majors. There's the 7 card way, where we go up to the first 7, and then 8 would be under card number 1. That's one way to line up the major arcana. There are other ways where you would do, what is it? It's 3. Okay, there's another way that was done by Worth that was different. And okay, so there are different ways of lining up the major arcana. My favorite, or the most common way that I think of the major arcana lining up, is in theosophical reduction. So, card number 13 and card number 4 line up together. If there was if there were so I also would place the Fool as after the World. So the Fool would be underneath these 2 cards as well. This is like the last section of cards that have 3 in a line. So the way I think of it is the Emperor, card 13, and the Fool lining up. And if you look at it that way, it'll be interesting, because the image of the Fool and the image of card 13 oftentimes look similar to each other. They got they're walking in a certain direction. They're holding a stick of in a certain way. Yeah. Oftentimes there's something over the shoulder, but there's also a cane in the hand for the Fool, le mat. So this reminds me of that cane in the hand for le mat. Okay, so this is totally tangential, but for another joke I saw in this spread, in addition to those 2 knights showing up, was the card 13 and 4 facing off together as a meeting of 2 personages. So what is card 13 for me? Well, it's change. It could be suffering and decline for many people, but I don't think that's the direction to read this card in this instance. Yeah? Ending of cycles is possible, but the ending of cycles not just as an end, but as a transformation, a profound transformation. And the way to do that could be to take that sickle and clear away what's blocking us. Yeah? Eliminating stuff, like eliminating illusions. Finding a revolutionary way of approaching things. Also harvesting that which has grown so that there is space for new stuff to grow, right? Cleansing the ground, cleansing the earth. And in that vein, keeping only that which is essential and recycling the rest, right? Eradication of the old to make way for the new is another way to look at that, in addition to maintaining that which is essential from that harvest. The work of the subconscious is also indicated here. Now, the work of the subconscious of clearing away the stuff that's accumulated. Because we're always taking in new information and new experiences, and sometimes even the subconscious says, it's way too crowded in here. Time to clean house, right? So we've got that unconscious work facing off with a very conscious card, the Emperor. Card number 4, and you see the 4 here floating in between card 13 and 4, which is the rational mind, right? It's stability, but it's also the rational mind. It's power, it's structure, it's authority, control, maintaining that which is through order and law. Whereas the card 13 is clearing away the stuff, keeping the essentials, but clearing away the stuff, harvesting what's good, but clearing away. The Emperor is maintaining that which exists and creating more with security, with a stable form, a protector. Whereas this is the cleanser, this is the protector. The Emperor, sorry, my light is blocking my eyes, is rooted in matter and balanced energies and practicality. Very similar to the Knight of Discs, right? And maybe the card 13 is a little similar to the Knight of Wands, who's out there ready to rip stuff up. So the Knight of Wands and the Knight of Discs united move into the meeting of these two opposing pairs of structure, rationalism, authority, control, and formative creativity. Going out and putting stuff together to make stuff in the world is meeting the clearing away and the harvesting and the profound transformation into something new. The transformative creator. The destructive creator. That's where we're riding into at this time of energy ramping up. And in that ramping up and that meeting of diametric pairs of 13 and 4, we will find the seed of where we're going and what can become for us in life. Does that make sense? This grouping of cards coming out, like I said, made me laugh, made me cry. It's just wonderful. And I hope you thought so too. So friends, here we are. Thank you for joining me on this ride. If you're still here, thank you, and hit that thumbs up button so you get notification of when I upload videos. Hit the alarm bell, so you get notification of when I upload videos. Dang, my mind is just doing weird stuff for me. Hit the thumbs up button so that YouTube knows that you got something out of it and other people will get something out of it. Hit the subscribe button and the alarm bell so you know when I upload videos. That's what I was trying to say. And comment below. Tell me what you think of my insane mind. Tell me what you think about the reading. Did it make sense? At this point, I don't know if it made sense anymore. It made sense to me. Hopefully it made sense to you. Let me know in the comments below. If you want a reading from me, my email address is below. thehangedmaninthemoon@gmail.com. All one thing, no spaces, nothing in between the words, all lowercase. thehangedmaninthemoon@gmail.com. Shoot me an email, we'll get you a reading. Terre de Marseille, Rider-Waite-Smith, Thoth, your choice. And friends, now, also friends, if you're interested in getting this deck, there might be a few left. There might be. I'll put a link to Marco Benedetti's Facebook page. You can go to that Facebook page, contact him, and see if you want to get the deck, let him know you're interested. There might be a couple of copies left. I forget which copy I have, but I'm number 18 of 50. Do I know that the next deck he has in his reserve is number 19? I don't know that. I can't promise you that he's sending these out in numerical order, but there might be stuff left. There will be a link in the comments below to his Facebook page, in the description box below to his Facebook page. Man, I gotta take a nap. So friends, now, as always, I wish you love, joy, well-being, and pure awareness. Thank you.